But he's a man who fights crime, and we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time with John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minutes!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham. Once again, we are back with Bat Minute and Robin, the show that thaws Joel Schumacher's wonderful masterpiece, revealing the treasures lying within. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
Oh, I thought there was going to be more to that, John.
No, I'm being dramatic. Oh, I need to be dramatic like an actor.
Your emotions have made you cold. That's why this minute is mine. It's me, Niall McGowan, the co-host.
Jesus, I love that so much. We are joined by, once again, two very special guests. Every guest is very special, but these two, you know them well. First up, we have Brady Crane.
Hey, what's up? You needed a dubstep siren behind that.
I wasn't too sure if that was like it's cold, like Brady.
Yeah.
Brady. And also, once again, Robin Garcia.
No, you gotta do the Robin. It sounds like you're scared.
Robin!
So now we just got to get the vuvuzelas going in the background as well.
Oh, remember when they were a thing in England for about 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was just during a World Cup one time. It's like, you've given this people en masse a thing that annoys the crap out of everyone. What were you thinking?
It's great. Where were they from again? South Africa?
I think it was Brazil or so thereabouts.
South Africa.
Yeah.
I thought it was South Africa. Yeah. I'm going with that. My first ever crush was from South Africa. Off topic. But anyway. Except
This
the
is
film.
like just John's therapy hour now.
Elon Musk was my first ever crush. No. Anyway, this is minute 15. And the minute starts and ends with some stuff that I forgot to write down.
Yeah.
So
That is accurate, though. So
it is. It's basically, it does start. I know the minute, so I can just do it anyway. The minute just starts with Robin frozen in ice. Oh no! And it ends with us wondering, will he survive?
It's like,
Will he?
will the boy wonder? Oh no, that's the end of the episode. Sorry.
Oh my god.
We'll get
So
to that.
unprofessional.
So yes, as I say, we are back with Robin frozen, and Freeze's super tank smashes through the wall, and we get another top quality pun.
Is it called
Can
a
you be
super
called?
tank?
No, it's not called that. It's called the Freeze-mobile, which is even worse.
Oh, I wish it was the super tank.
But now you're seeing it in action, though. So like those spikes at the front do nothing. They're terrible. Like we'll have more impact without them. It seems like
I don't think they really played a part in busting through the wall.
No, there were no.
If
help
anything, they'll just
whatsoever.
have bricks stuck to the front of the vehicle
Yeah.
the whole rest of the day.
Yeah, but you're forgetting it just makes it look like it's icicles. It looks cool.
I think it does specify in the scripts and novelizations and whatnot that it's supposed to be a drilling device, like this whole thing. But it's like
Static spikes are drills now?
Apparently.
But it also makes me think as well of again, going into the Cowabunga Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing. It just reminded me of that was the way Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady used to get around. It's that freaking drill thing that came up through the floor every 5 seconds. I wonder if they had that in mind. If you can come, because I think it does specify in the script and the novelization. He comes up in his freeze tank through the floor. So in a drilling machine. So it's
That's
is
better
freaking
to me,
Turtles.
I think. Yeah.
But maybe it was the Turtles. People were like, no, we own that. You can't come up in a giant drill. It's that's our whole identity.
It seems like this thing was at the ready, and we've already discussed this a couple of times this week, where it seems like part of his plan was to fall into the furnace, have this thing ready, and make his getaway, as opposed to just flying away in his little wings or even his rocket.
Well, he's like Sheev Palpatine. Everything is going according to his vision.
Or even, we were discussing Heath Ledger Joker, and he says he doesn't have a plan, but at some point he sewed an exploding cell phone into somebody.
That's a plan. Yeah. It might be crazy, but it's a plan.
I mean, when we are covering the Dark Knight in some form, that is one of my big things with I guess maybe they could be it's the 3 characters, one of them's order, one of them's chaos, quote unquote, and then Two-Face is actually the true chaos because he's leaving everything up to the toin costs, as I kept saying last season.
Yeah.
But like, I guess the Joker's the guy who keeps saying he's chaotic, but he is the guy who's got contingencies upon contingencies the whole goddamn time. He's
Lady
fronting.
doth protest too much, methinks.
Yes, it's like, well, if I should happen to get arrested, then I happen to have a mobile phone with explosives sewn into a guy, so that's handy, just in case. You never
Hey,
know.
we all need to have that ready just in case.
Just in
I've
case.
got 3 guys like that.
What really happened is he set up this, this mobile phone that's explosive in like a bag in the work freezer, and it said, "Don't touch this, is Joker's." And he's like, "Oh, god damn it, you guys!"
He ate it. I love this idea. I love it. Oh yeah, I never got to say. We get another great pun. He goes, "Can you be cold, Batman? You have 11 minutes to thaw the bird." I love that. Can you be cold? I thought that was genuinely
Can you
great,
be
top tier
cold?
writing.
The thing is, though, this could be genius writing, or it could be, we didn't think about it, and it's almost definitely the
No,
latter.
they thought about it. Can you be cold? Can you be cold-hearted?
No, but in terms of this, though, because Mr. Freeze saying that then to Batman, like, "Oh, can you be cold? Your emotions make you weak. That's why this day is mine." It's like, your whole thing is that you're obsessed with saving your wife. You're not cold to that. You are so emotionally involved in your wife that you are going and destroying your own life and the life of countless people. So can you be cold, Mr. Freeze, and just get over her? Like, what, this is the lady doth protest too much scenario. It's like,
Okay, this gets to the central thesis of the movie, though, because I will come back to my original point from the beginning,
This movie
and
has a
I'm allowed to
thesis?
say this. This movie is all about the gay agenda. The message of this movie is that heterosexuality makes you weak, because he's the villain saying this. What's his motivation? His wife. Oh, blah, 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 his wife. What's the big tempting thing of the other villain? Oh, she wants to make kissies on the boys. Oh, that's heterosexual. I mean, as drag coded or transcoded or whatever as Poison Ivy is, that's the threat of heterosexuality. And in the end, what happens is we get a family with their own token girl who is not in any way related to the 2 main guys. This movie is all about how you gotta be gay or else you can't be Batman.
It's true, and I think we get another great homoerotic bit that comes up immediately after this. Because Freeze says, what will you do? Chase the villain or save the boy?
Yeah,
Because in
the
most
boy.
other films, it's save the girl.
yeah.
It's a very interesting play on words. That's like, oh, okay.
Interesting. He does. The whole like, "can you be cold" thing has got me thinking, or whatever. But he lets him live or whatever, and runs
I'll
out.
kill you
like,
later.
I'll kill you later. Thank you. I was thinking, like, why doesn't he just go ahead and kill him and take care of this problem altogether?
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
Riddler?
No one's gonna come by in the next 11 minutes to thaw both of these guys.
I think he specifically says, I'll kill you next time. It's like, oh, we'll bump into each other again. It's like, you should be trying to avoid bumping into this guy. Just kill him now. What are you doing?
I'll smell you later, Batman.
Yeah, the last movie, the Riddler doesn't want to kill him because if you kill him, he don't learn nothing. And I thought that was a pretty cool concept or whatever, but I don't think that's what they were going for here. So
No, we've brought it up already. Like he's had about 5 opportunities in this movie in 15 minutes to kill Batman.
What do you think? But he freezes Batman's hands. Freeze the whole guy.
Freeze him!
Yeah.
Kill him!
Yeah.
Well, and talking about the previous movie, though, we do have showing how fundamentally useless Dick Grayson is to the Batman's endeavor here, because climax of the last movie, it was like, who will survive? Bruce's love or the Dark Knight's junior partner? He was Batman given an
Which is
ultimatum.
also Bruce's love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, he had been Robin all of 2 minutes in that. He was used as a bargaining chip for Batman. He was given an ultimatum. Now it's the same thing. It's like, because you got this asshole with you, Batman. It's like, well, you could chase me, but you got this kid to look after now. It's like,
Right.
You said when we let you keep him that you would feed him and take care of him.
He's a pet Robin.
There you go.
but it's like, yeah, you can imagine at this point, Batman is like, I know, okay, he did save me in that rocket. I'll give him that. But I might have got out of that myself. And also, it's like, yeah, this kid is really dragging on my style. Like,
Yeah, that's my problem with Robin in general, even in the comics. I know some people love him. But my problem is, I think that the whole concept of Batman, he should be alone. As soon as you bring other characters into it, it just sort of complicates the whole thing. And
The thing is, that can be used very well at times.
Lego Batman.
Yeah, Lego Batman. As we'll get to it eventually in the chapters, John. But Dark Victory does a good validation of Robin in that, and it's like. But the thing is, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you get those good single stories where it's like, oh, that's why it works, and then you'll get situations like this where it's like, oh yeah, would have been really handy if Robin wasn't here because you could just stare on after him.
I don't think that we should look at the guy who is already like brutally beating people all the time to deal with his psychological issues and say he doesn't need emotional support.
I suppose you could say that, yeah. He needs emotional support, but for the story, should he have that?
I mean, it's just like it's save the boy, you know, save the cheerleader, save the world. Robin is playing the same role as these you know, distressed women, and for all the problematic things of that trope, it is, you know, essentially like, hey, look, you this hero can't lose his humanity, you know, his Batmanity. He needs to be able to, like, can you imagine if he just didn't do this? If it was just like, okay, bye, Robin, I'm gonna go get Mr. Freeze.
You have served me well.
This isn't Zack Snyder. This is a good, nice man who's a bat.
Yeah, Zack Snyder would leave him.
It does open up a nice little window into Batman's psyche, though, because I guess at this point, like, what do we know about the character? The guy lost his parents, so now, and throughout the rest of this movie, he's going to lose his father figure. Like, Alfred's dying as well, so it is really like, can he be cold? No, he can't. Like, this is a guy who, as Batman or as Alfred says at one point, like, what is Batman but an attempt to control death itself? And I was like, maybe this is the beginning of, like, yeah, this guy is beginning to let people into his life and accept that he can't control scenarios where, you know, people could get hurt and possibly killed and stuff, because, you know, it's just a liability of life. You could close yourself off from everybody and be a weird, you know, complete, you know, dark loner the whole time. But, you know, you do have to open up to people sometimes.
So much of that is like you were saying, echoed in what Alfred's saying later about some of his dialogue towards the end of the movie, which is actually kind of cool.
Oh yeah, shockingly, all the Batman or all the Bruce Wayne Alfred stuff in this is actually pretty solid. Like, it's actually like,
it's almost like this is a good movie and I was right the whole time.
Yeah, bam. Hell yes.
I have a note about how Robin can hold his breath for a pretty long time if he's stuck in that. And I looked into it, and the longest, if I'm not mistaken, the world record for holding someone's breath was it Kenny G? Was
Kenny G?
45 minutes.
The musician.
Yeah, he held a note for 45 minutes and 47 seconds, but somebody else... right?
Wait. Did you say you held a note for 45
minutes, and somebody else did it for 47 minutes and 6 seconds. Yeah, now, who knows what the truth is to that, but, yeah, it can't be that long. Some other guy did it for, if you Google it, 22 minutes. So,
well, I've got asthma, so I can hold my breath for about 5 seconds.
Like, do you think Robin is thinking of that, though? He's like, oh, he's going to freeze me.
Yeah, he doesn't, he should be out of breath, because he just did a big jump.
Right.
You know, it's not, I would love to see him in the ice with his cheeks all out like Dizzy Gillespie, just like...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Good Lord.
We also go... You mentioned it before now, but I need to go more into it. We go from an Arnie high, Can You Be Cold, to an Arnie low, which has so often been the case already in this movie. High and low, high and low. Because he goes, your emotions make you weak. That's why this day is mine. Ha! And it's just like, what? This is the stupidest line ever. Shut up.
That's so weird, Jocks. It's like, I love all that, because that's just like, it's campy supervillain. That is like, we'll meet again, Spider-Man.
But he delivers it like he's just reading it off a piece of paper. Like, he's like, your emotions make you weak. He's not putting any drama into it. Whereas the previous line he did.
Well, I kind of thought like he was just so jovial, because he's like, that's why this day is mine. He's just so overwhelmed with joy because he's getting away with this.
I hate it, right? Like, it's awful, but it fits the movie. I like it in that aspect. It's stupid.
The reason it works for me is because, yes, it's bad, stupid lines. And, you know, the ending line is dumb. It's bad. But this is all being said while before he's, frozen the wall and everything, where he's standing 10 feet away from Batman and saying, you have no time to come and get me. You have to save this boy. You can't come and get me now. Yes, you have to stop and save this boy. And it's like, or he could, like, shoot a batarang at you. Like, he could, if he was Dick Grayson, just jumped and apparently thought he could have hit Mr. Freeze. So why can't Batman right now? They're just standing in the same room.
Well, we also know as well, we see later in this very minute, Batman has a laser on him. Just like freaking blast him in the eye or something. It's like, go whip it out and shoot him.
Yeah.
Shoot something on his suit. And it's like, there you go, you're incapacitated. Shoot him in the knee or whatever.
Shoots his laser pointer at him like he's a bored kid in school.
Niall, I never wanted to hear you say just whip it out and shoot it onto his suit. But there you go.
That's my long-standing policy with a lot of things, John.
If something is that cold and it was like if you tried to thaw it out or whatever that quickly, it would die, correct?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, the shift in temperatures. Robin goes from like normal body temperature to sub-zero, and then into boiling water in a matter of a minute and a half. It's
The water's not boiling yet, but the thing that gets me is why is this pool here? Is this like a koi pond?
It's a great question.
Is it a water hazard?
I still don't know what this building is.
See, I would really love if the twist was this was actually the rebuilt Axis chemicals.
Yeah.
And he's stuck him in the chemical runoff reservoir, and then he hauls Robin back up. It's another Joker.
Yes.
Oh, no!
Oh, that would genuinely be great. Like, I've saved his life, but in doing so, I've created a new villain.
Yeah, there you go. That's your twist, Joel Schumacher. Come back from the spirit realm. Make that movie for us.
That genuinely would be great. Like, that's his choice. Like, I can put him in the chemicals and save his life, or I can let him die. Like, what should I do? I like that.
They could have done like a nice little comics nod here, called it like the Lazarus Company or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like a Lazarus pit he's put him in. It's like,
And he's coming
Coming
out
back
of
to
it.
life, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. So as you've alluded to, of course, Batman makes his choice. He's going to save Robin. But just before that, we get something I really enjoyed, which was how he freezes the hole over in the wall. Which I actually think is quite clever, and he has a little sassy wave. The shade.
Why wasn't he
that
doing
wave.
this before with the big doors?
Yeah, freeze him. Yeah.
I do love that
long
one. I
game.
love the little squeak of him wiping the ice.
Which he doesn't have hot breath, right? So he can't like breathe onto it and then draw a little heart or like a little picture of Batman, but with like a dumb mustache and crossed out eyes and stuff.
That'd be great.
I like though Mr. Freeze not born in a barn or born in a field. I don't know what. I've always had debates with people whether it's supposed to be were you born in a barn or you born in a field. And
I've only heard this saying right in England / Ireland, and born in a barn is the way.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
it always
Born
annoys
in
me
a
though
barn.
because barns have doors, whereas a field doesn't have a door. So it makes more sense to say were you born in a field. But
No, but the joke is that you're not. No, actually, yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, no. Born in a barn doesn't make any sense with opening the door.
But I know people who will die on the hill of it being were you born in a barn. It's like, what doesn't make any sense?
I'm sure it does, but I don't know the explanation. I get what you're saying. I've only heard it as barn, but I don't know why.
Yeah. Should note as well, because we did do a little thing last week talking about because this is the last we see of the Mr. Freeze goggles. Like, you don't have them the rest of the movie. We talked about, that they were actually a creation of Mike Mignola for the animated series. That's where Mr. Freeze first got his goggles. But in time way back to something we talked about in weeks earlier even than that, we brought up the fact that Mr. Freeze was not an original creation by any means, because there already was a Mr. Freeze in the Blackhawk comic. And Mr. Freeze was originally called Mr. Zero because of that. Should note as well that another sort of goggle-wearing, cold-based supervillain, who I always thought was a Mr. Freeze ripoff, actually came before the character of Mr. Freeze. Fans of DC will know, of course, Captain Cold.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes! Nice! I did not know that he came first.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Captain Cold. Mr. Freeze debuted or Mr. Zero, as he was called originally, debuted in February of 1959, and Captain Cold debuted in June of 1957.
Wow.
So I was like, for a guy now who is just like, oh yeah, it's like the poor man's Mr. Freeze. Like, he came first, goddammit. But yeah, because I don't know, maybe that's why they didn't do the goggles of Mr. Freeze for like a long time until the 90s, is because, well, Captain Cold's he's already got the shtick of having a friggin' gun that shoots ice laser or whatever. And he's got the eyewear, like apparently explained in his first issue, that he wears the only thing about Captain Cold is that he is kind of a lame character in comparison to Mr. Freeze, because he doesn't have the sub-zero temperatures to survive thing. He's just a guy who has a freeze ray.
Yeah, and his name's crap.
So
I mean,
kinda...
Mr. Freeze is not a great name either.
No, but I do love that he's Victor Freeze.
The thing is like Captain Cold's not even a real captain. At least Mr. Freeze is a mister.
Is he? Does Freeze ever clarify his gender identity?
That is true.
Maybe Freeze is non-binary like me.
Mix Freeze.
Yeah.
It could be, though, because Gordon does state at the beginning, he's calling himself Mr. Freeze. So he's like, we do know.
Okay.
Of course, yeah, he is going by Mr. Freeze.
Firmly establishing.
But maybe he's a drag king.
Yeah,
that's his character.
I was going to say, because from the surveillance footage that they show of him falling into the stuff, he's pretty butch, if that is the case.
He is.
He's Arnold
He and
Schwarzenegger.
Nora.
You don't get much more butch than that.
I know, yeah.
The king of butch, surely.
I know.
But, again, it could all be an illusion. It could be padding and things like that.
That's a very good point.
To continue that, though, should also mention Captain Cold, also not the first DC character, not the first DC villain to have his whole shtick be, oh yeah, I got a freeze ray. Because apparently the Icicle, who's also like a long-forgotten villain, he debuted in All-American Comics 90 in October of 1947. And his whole deal was like, yeah, I got a gun that freezes stuff. And I was like, God, Mr. Freeze is a rip-off of a rip-off of a rip-off at this point. Like, I guess, it's not the most amazing idea, like, oh yeah, freeze ray. But like, it is like, yeah, they really... No wonder he was considered such a Z-list villain for so goddamn long.
Oh my god, you're so fucking... Sorry, you said Zed.
Zed.
Hey,
they-
I'm English. I'll back him up.
Right, they invented the
yeah.
language, Robin, so I'm going to go with Zed. And it sounds cooler.
He's got
None of your
in
stupid
Power Rangers,
Z.
you had Lord Zed. You didn't have Lord Z.
In my country, we say Z, we don't get health care, and we really like it.
Yeah.
Did the props department for the movie, for the 1997 Joel Schumacher critical flop Batman and Robin have to create a Chris O'Donnell statue that was also lightweight enough for George Clooney to casually carry around so he could put it in a little pond?
And
This
where
is a
that
big
prop?
problem I had with this scene, right? The Robin prop looks fantastic. Like, visually.
Yeah.
In a still, looks great. But it has
I think they just actually froze Chris O'Donnell.
They did, genuinely. They learned about cryogenics.
Chris O'Donnell's just like, oh, my cells hella died, but
That's why it's not been quite right since.
That boy ain't right.
But no, like, it has no weight to it at all. I hate that. Like, I know
Batman's
Batman is
strong.
strong, but he picks him up and carries him like he's a bag of sugar.
It's like that's a 200-pound man with as noted in production, a 50-pound suit he's wearing on top of that. So it's like a 250 pounds. Batman's just hauling around as if it's like, oh yeah, it's a suitcase I need to shove into the bottom of a bus
Yeah.
here.
It's absurd. Like, why? At least pretend it's heavy. What are you doing, George?
Yeah, that's not really properly like tipping him over and rolling him over into the thing.
Well, he should just push it so it slides because it's on ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes way more sense. Just shove him.
Him just getting out a little bat bucket and like getting water and just pouring it on him.
Hey, why not? It could have a Batman logo on it and everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of Robin in water, towards the end of the movie, he falls into the little pool in Poison Ivy's hideout.
Yeah.
And he comes up out of the water and goes right back in. And it's clearly, through the editing, they just kind of like played the footage backwards, like really quickly. And I was thinking about this actually I have a note about how, excuse me, how stupid that is. And as we're talking about this movie over the course of the last 3 days, I've been thinking how self-aware some of this stuff is, and how this movie might not be as bad as it gets credit for. It's bad.
This is
It's
what
dumb.
John and I have been telling y'all.
Dude, I'm coming around on it, and I'm like, there's no way that. I mean, this movie's made by grown-ups, like professionals who know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And have lengthy careers behind them and everything. Is it possible that many people could get together and make a movie that bad out of such good source material? And I don't know, man.
No, they couldn't. Because, right, you can dislike the end result, but it's exactly what they were going for. It's not a mistake. It's not like they screwed up. It's a bad movie in that sense. It's not The Room. He was trying to make a masterpiece with The Room.
Yeah.
Like, this was like, no, we're going to try and make a silly, fun, campy action film for the summer. It's like,
I do like, though, that Brady is now going, like, through statistics, he's going to prove that Batman and Robin is a good movie. But, well, statistically speaking, this amount of people can't possibly make a bad product.
That's what makes a good movie. I'm telling
all right, you could be our resident 3PO then, giving us the odds and the statistics and things.
I do have to ask, though, like, Chris O'Donnell's like, I couldn't track down where this sculpture is now.
No,
it feels
same.
like it's got to be in like a Planet Hollywood or something. It's got because you can buy one of the other ice sculpture people for like a couple of grand, like on an auction
If I was
site.
Chris O'Donnell, I would want to keep it.
Hell yeah!
Seriously.
Well, as I've brought up on the show before,
He
Arnold
looks great in this
Schwarzenegger.
movie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger owns the Mr. Freeze out. Well, he doesn't own it. He rents the Mr. Freeze outfit still to this day.
you. We rinse it?
Yeah, the
What?
studio still own it, but they let him have it as long as he gives them $1 a year to loan it.
Wow.
I think though that in comparison though, a reason why Chris O'Donnell might not have asked for that sculpture is that he himself apparently owns flat out the Robin suit from Batman Forever. Like,
They didn't want it back. No, it's okay.
it's in interviews with him on Conan O'Brien, and Conan's going on like, oh, so what happened to that suit? And he's like, oh no, I got it. And it's like, oh, so what do you do with it? And he says like, well, it's actually a pain in the ass because like. I don't display it for people. I just kind of have to I've had to lug it around from house to house for 20 years now because it's just in storage.
No, put it on
It's just
display.
like,
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's so embarrassing because it doesn't fit him anymore, maybe. And it's like, oh, it just reminds me.
Although it just makes me think of the Simpsons style with Mr. Plow, where Marge gets Homer to put the Mr. Plow jacket on in bed. Like I
that would
imagine
be-
if you're in bed with I've forgotten Chris O'Donnell. I was going to say Dick O'Donnell, which works as well.
Yeah, that's what
imagine
you're going to
you-
do next.
Yeah, you'd be like, could you slip into that for me?
Well, it might be the heartbreaking part that she's like, he's suggesting that, and she's like, if it was the Batman suit, maybe, because it's Robin,
Oh.
Like,
I agree with you, but come on, as we've discussed many times on this show, Robin in these two films was a lot of people's sexual awakening, straight, gay, bi, whatever.
yeah. But the one thing that we are doing this season is because Batman and Robin is regarded by a lot of people as being one of the worst films ever made. We are asking the guests about their personal worst movies. Do you guys have like something that you truly believe to be abhorrently heinous and unforgivable? Or
I've got a few. Robin, go ahead and take it if you've got something.
Okay,
there.
so I love movies that are quote unquote bad. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is the live action Bratz film.
Oh,
It's
with John
great
Voight,
movie.
of course.
Yeah, famous child fucker John Voight. Sorry, you gotta include that. I love a movie that is entertaining all the way through and is not afraid to be silly and all that. But in high school, I went to see I don't know why I went to see the midnight release of the film Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, the sequel to the Michael Bay movie, which was
is it
was
the
like,
sequel that's got the really racist robots?
Oh yeah, it's got the racist, illiterate robots. It has a robot with balls that
and they hit
climbs
the balls.
pyramids.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's got the balls and it climbs the pyramids.
Jesus.
It's got lots of wonderful, wonderful things. The movie was so bad that coming outside, like, and this is how unnecessarily long it was, is I went to a midnight showing and came outside and it was light out. Oof. And, it was a summer movie. And I realized my first ever car, a crappy little Ford Exploder, I had left it unlocked. Oh. And someone had gone in and jacked my CD player out of it.
Oh, no.
What?
And then I drove home completely musicless and realized to myself, the worst thing that has happened today is that I had to watch Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, it is bad.
Wow.
Like, I went opening weekend. I didn't go midnight. That's crazy. And I liked the first one. I still think that first one is okay.
I did at the time. I now can't stand it, but that was why I went and saw it.
Yeah. And even then, as a fan of the first one, I came out like, that wasn't very good, was it?
I remember I went to see it with my friend Anthony, who was like a massive Transformers fan. Like, not just like, not the recent movies, but like from his childhood, like the old cartoons and stuff. And he was like, that was great, right? And I was like, were you and me watching the same movie? Like, it was terrible.
Well, that was like when I've brought it up on the show before, when we all came out of Dark Knight Rises. When, like, was it our friend and guest of the show, Gaz? Was it him who was really positive? Like, that was great? Someone
I think he was off the bat was like, no, I did not care for that.
Oh, someone we were with was like, that was fantastic, and I was just like, that movie was not good. What are you talking about?
Also, we would be remiss if we didn't also, for the purposes of everything's connected, point out that the robot testicles in the second Transformers movie
are the same that appear in this movie.
But they are, of course, commented on by one John Turturro, who is our upcoming Carmine the Roman Falcone in the next Batman movie. So everything.
I haven't
connected.
seen Transformers, so when you said that, it really took me by surprise, and I had to follow along because robot testicles.
In the first one, the one that is actually like watchable, he gets peed on by a robot.
Yeah, but somehow that's fine. Like the second one, it literally is a robot with. It's meant to be like wrecking balls. Right.
I was going to ask,
but
what
they're
in
its crotch. It's it's balls. It's balls.
And if I remember, they defeat him. Don't they smack the balls?
I don't. I may have repressed this memory.
Jesus, and then there's racist robots in it too, Brady, that are just being like ghetto, and it's like, no, this is embarrassing.
They would every single line of them is like. You're wondering like when one of them is gonna like drop an N-bomb because they're obviously also voiced by white people.
Yes,
and very specific. The one line I really remember that besides "I'm sitting under the robot's balls" is I don't know. I can't read.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think I'm going to stay clear of the Transformers series. Just
I would. Because if you watch the first one that we're saying is okay, you'll feel like you want to watch the next few. And you really shouldn't.
Is there more John Turturro water sports in this?
And even by the third one, I know he's cancelled now, but you can see that like Shia LaBeouf is like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. What the hell?
Wow.
Got replaced with completely unproblematic fave Marky Mark.
Yeah, everybody loves him, right? He's done nothing bad.
Never blinded any Filipino men.
No, not at all.
Jesus.
But what about you though, Brady? What would you say is the lowest ebb of cinema?
Based on y'all's review of Transformers, I think I might have to go with that. No, I've got a couple here, and they kind of across the board. I still haven't seen Cats, but I've got to say, and I can say this because it's one of the of the series I did. I think Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom is among the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Okay. I didn't mind it, but I also I didn't care.
That was one I would never say it's like, oh, it's such an atrocious movie, but it is a scenario where I went to see that as a matinee, and by 9 p.m. I had forgotten that I'd watched the movie. Like, it left no impact whatsoever on my life.
I'll be honest, I only remember one thing from the entire movie, and I think it might be in the trailer as well. It's the bit where like the island is getting destroyed, and you see like a brachiosaurus like crying out for help.
Oh yeah, it's like the sad. Yeah,
that
sad
bit is genuinely moving, and I don't remember
kind of
anything
cool.
else.
Yeah, that was very poignant. I'll give it that. That was a cool moment and everything. But Robin, it's like I would have rather just had my stereo system jacked out of my car than have seen that movie. Chris Pratt doing all kinds of ninja moves and everything. I'm like, what in that? I just downloaded I found a 35 millimeter print of or copy of a print of Jurassic Park online. Yeah, and downloaded it last night, and it's crazy being able to see some of the stuff that you're not intended to see in the other part of the frame, and it makes it like an entirely different movie.
Well, to be honest, I grew up with the VHS, so as soon as we got DVDs and Blu-rays, it was like, oh, you're supposed to be able to see in this scene. Okay.
Yeah. What the hell is this? So it's funny, I'm thinking that like a movie with the boom mic in the frame or the stage lights coming down over Ian Malcolm's is infinitely better than the fifth installment in that series. So,
what did you make of Jurassic World then, the first one? Because I quite like it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I think they missed an opportunity with making paleontology and stuff like that cool and interesting and relevant again. I remember when the first movie came out, kids everywhere couldn't get enough of dinosaurs, and there was so much interest in learning and things like that. I thought it kind of missed an opportunity to kind of take over parts of the social zeitgeist, I guess, for different ages, and instead of being just an enormous success at the box office, which was cool, but
it was just a big action movie, whereas the other one had much more going for it. Yeah.
Right. There is this movie from, I think, the 70s starring Joe Don Baker called Mitchell, and if you've never seen it, don't.
Just don't.
It's pretty. Yeah, my brother got it for me as a birthday, kind of a gag gift several years ago or whatever, and I got through about 30 seconds. So I guess I can't really say that it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it is regarded as such.
Okay. I mean, now you've intrigued me, though. I know you said don't. Now I've got to watch it.
There's no way Joe Don Baker would star
in
an inferior product. Like, what the hell?
Right? That's all I got.
But I am, I'm noted out for this minute. Does anyone else have any notes for this minute or this week in general?
The only note I've got is that tying into Jurassic Park being realistic, despite pseudoscience, I like the pseudoscience here of him putting Robin into the water and then using the laser to heat the water. He doesn't melt.
Turns red.
Yeah, that's so cool. He doesn't melt the ice around Robin because that'd kill him. I buy it. I don't know why I buy it. It's like, okay, fine, yeah, that makes more sense to me somehow.
You just got to go with it.
Yeah. Heat the water. It's like cooking food.
At the same time, too, you think, well, actually, maybe not, because he is boiling the water. It'll kill germs, but it's just like, you don't know what sewage is in there. Batman's like, although I guess Robin does get knocked into Poison Ivy's koi pond and a big thing of like goopy ice cream crap at one point.
Wait,
Robin gets knocked into a lot of liquid in this movie.
Wait. Isn't it all like icy and snowy around? Why isn't that water frozen?
Well, exactly. None of this makes... What's happening here? What's going on? Where are they?
Because Batman Forever, that's why. Excuse me, Batman and Robin.
Yep.
I've got one note about how this movie is $3.99 on Amazon Prime to watch. And so to get ready for the show, I rented it, watched it all the way through, and then was going to go back and take some notes for the minutes, and totally forgot. So by the time I remembered to go back, the rental was already up. It was after 48 hours. So I looked at the price of the ticket in 1997, and it was roughly $8. So the cost of seeing this movie twice now today is what it was to see it once when it came out. And I don't know if that's a deal or not, but I have no one to blame but myself.
God damn it, yeah.
I should also note, too, Brady, hate to break your heart, but the whole movie is in the folder as well.
Yep.
Then you gotta watch
not
it
just the
minute
clips,
by
but the
minute.
actual completed movie is in there.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
I came to that. That was just injury to insult, man. Like, I have no one to blame but myself.
That's supposed to be a secret, though. We're not supposed to endorse that.
Right?
I was slightly worried when you're starting off. I was like, it cost me $3.99 to watch this, and I'm here to get my money back. It's like, you two bozos owe me like $2 each.
Uh-huh.
But yes, we will depart. We will wrap up the week. There's one more for you. And how long can I sustain that? Wrap.
Oh, you think you are, Kenny G? Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll hold it. Now, loop that so it sounds like I held it as long as Kenny G. How many hours was it?
I 45 minutes.
45 minutes. There you go. Not quite there. But,
You're really overshooting for Kenny G right there. Like, how many hours was it?
Yeah, jeez. I mean, that was an amazing feat, but it was not hours.
I don't know. I thought it was like 3 hours. Who cares? Loop it for 3 hours now. Put that at the end of the episode. And yes, we will depart.
Why is this podcast episode so long?
It's long enough. Robin, would you like to remind people one more time where you and your work can be found on the interwebs?
I can be found at Toy Story Minute on Dueling Genre. It is currently on hiatus because Jeb and I record together, and yeah, gestures around. All those podcasts are under a different name, but surprise them trans, it came out like right after it finished because I was like, man, I got to do this whole thing and whatever. But it's very fun. We went through Toy Story minute by minute, as you no doubt get by the name. The first 3 films so far. And I also tweet things at Reverse Eye Patch. So if, for other projects that I'm doing, I do all these little tiny weird things. If you're into the manga One Piece, I have a Tumblr blog around it called Ouch Piece.
Okay.
So that's fun. It goes through all the bizarre shonen injuries sustained in that series, which includes I'm not even close to it, but people being frozen solid. So that'll be fun. And yeah, that's ouchpiece.tumblr.com. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
Brady, where can you be found? One more time.
Ghostbusters Minute, Jurassic Park Minute, and Goonies Minute are all somewhere out there online. So if you are interested, easy to find.
Hell yeah. But come and speak to us on Facebook at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. Buy a t-shirt on TeePublic. Look up the Sleepy Charlie Media Store. You can get the new logo and all kinds of weird things. They've probably got new merch. I don't know. You can get a laptop cover or something.
Look, we're selling laptops. What?
No, you can get a laptop, an officially licensed laptop. Yeah, I hand make a gaming one.
That you said that like you just discovered the word laptop.
And what else do they do? They do travel mugs, all kinds of crap. Go get your junk with our faces on, and we'll see you again on Monday for more Bat Minute and Robin.
Next time, a dictating debutante? The boiled boy wonder is brought out of his slumber, blissfully aware of his bone-headed blunder. But while a rambunctious Robin rolls into recovery, which horticultural authority is rambling about her discoveries? There's a sidekick thawing and Herman Seemering gnawing every Oops. There's a sidekick thawing and Thurman scenery gnawing next time, dear listeners. Same bat pod, different Bat Minute.
We'll be back.